We're an American original, dependable, historic, nuanced, with all the comforts of home, even when you're just visiting. So we're celebrating for all that we've left untouched and all that we've changed. A place where the past meets the future. So consider this your invitation.
We've been celebrating here in Elizabeth for 350 years, and we're just getting started. Welcome back to our city. For the second half of the show, I'm pleased to be joined by Miss Daphne Duberville, who is the Elizabeth Municipal Alliance Chairman, a coordinator, and Miss Clarissa Robles, a Community Relations Specialist for WellCare Health Plans. Ladies, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having us.
So Daphne, why don't we start for you? Tell us what is the Elizabeth Municipal Alliance? We've had it for years and it works well.
Yes, the Elizabeth Municipal Alliance is a community drug prevention and alcohol prevention grant that's funded by the Governor's Council on Alcohol and Drug Abuse. It's basically charged to addressing drug and alcohol issues within communities and basically getting them towards the goal of being drug-free.
And Daphne, the goal of drug-free is difficult, but you work with different age groups, mostly young people?
We work with all groups. We work with youth, we work with seniors, basically the whole population. But our main goal is really to do prevention preparedness, because we notice that we're not just dealing with drugs and alcohol, but we're dealing with other prevention issues. So we like to just keep it prevention prepared communities.
Talk about some of the accomplishments the Alliance has had so far.
Well, we've aided the City of Elizabeth with the Clean Indoor and Outdoor Act, and we are one of the few cities that still has our DARE program. And then we continue to fund other programs, basically anything that's focused on prevention or outreach, we continue to provide funding for them.
Now, Clarissa, tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do with the WellCare Health Plans.
Well, my role is Community Relations Specialist, and I wear many hats within Union County, but I focus on providing assistance and guidance with the New Jersey Family Care application process for Medicaid. I also basically do a lot of community events. A lot of efforts go towards helping people connect, whether it be community services, resources that organizations provide, government resources as well. And I love what I do because I basically help people every day.
That's a great thing. You can go home at night and say, I love what I do because I help people. That's a terrific attitude. That's
yes.
Absolutely. So Daphne, Clarissa is someone who is considered or nominated or
yes,
Volunteer of the Year. Tell us what that is.
So the Volunteer of the Year is basically someone in the alliances that they feel has been kind of pivotal to supporting the alliance's goal and mission. And Clarissa recently joined the alliance, and just with her being on there, she's always been helpful, always been kind of the first person to say, oh, I can help, or let me know how I can help. And one thing about Clarissa is that she aims at serving underserved populations, and so she's constantly trying to figure out where is the need. And I think the Alliance noticed that and really appreciate that about her.
So how does someone get to be the Volunteer of the Year? Do you pick? Do you just watch her great talents and then say, hey, you're going to be it?
Well, we typically kind of look at who's in the Alliance, what members and what have they contributed. And I think everyone kind of agreed that Clarissa stood out. She's practically at every event in the city of Elizabeth. And we kind of went off with that. And she's personable, you can tell right now.
I can. Only just met her 10 minutes ago, too.
Exactly.
I met her probably at some of the events. But Clarissa, how did you get involved with the Alliance?
It's funny.
It didn't come knocking on your door, did it? No.
Today actually marks my 1-year anniversary at WellCare. And about this time, I met Daphne. Yeah. And she invited me to one of the meetings. And since then, WellCare has partnered with the City of Elizabeth to do many events, whether it be healthcare events, health fairs, enrollment fairs, and recently we did organize the DARE Day. And I love what I do on the committee because it's such a great tool that leaders come together and assess what the community in City of Elizabeth needs, and they really try to pull together to provide that.
Clarissa, did you work on the Affordable Health Care Act, Obamacare, teaching people how to fill that out too? Is that part of your role or no?
It's Affordable Care Act is, yes, nicknamed Obamacare. What I do is separate. It's Medicaid, so it's government-sponsored health insurance, health care. And I assist, I'm bilingual as well, so I assist with applications and just basically allowing people to recognize whether or not they qualify. So.
And that sometimes can be difficult unless somebody has somebody to talk to.
Yes, sometimes there's barriers, whether it be technological barriers or language barriers. So I try to just ease them into the process and let them know that I'm here to help, and however long it takes, we'll just walk along with it.
So since you've been working in the city of Elizabeth, what have you learned about? Where are you from? I should say you're not from Elizabeth.
No, I'm originally from Brooklyn, New York.
Okay.
Born and raised there.
Well, we're the better side of the river.
Yeah, but since being here, I love Elizabeth. I believe that it has such rich history, such great cuisines. I love the fact that no matter where you are in Elizabeth, there's always something really great nearby. I've really embraced the culture here, and the diverse families that work here. Such hardworking people live here, and are really proud to represent the city. And I'm part of that, and I love it.
So the Great Cuisine is a well-kept secret. We don't want you telling too many people about all the great restaurants. But the restaurant owners, they want more people, sure. So, Daphne, how did you stumble on Clarissa, or did you?
Clarissa, I don't even know how we met. Probably our personalities clicked.
Yeah.
It's like
I couldn't have
dating.
guessed that. How many years are you with the city now?
3 years now.
3 years.
Yeah. So I go to a lot of community events, and I think Clarissa has that vibe. So easy to approach. So maybe that's like speed
Maybe
dating.
that's how
Likewise.
it happened.
We can be dated.
So what do you think the greatest contribution of Clarissa is, or of WellCare?
I think WellCare is one of those special organizations that's in the community. So often you hear of health plans, but it's kind of removed. You have to call an operator. WellCare is accessible, and I think access is such an important thing, especially when dealing with insurance, with the Affordable Care Act or whatever it is. I think people need to see a face behind the brand or the face behind the name of the organization, and I think that's what kind of stands WellCare out, is they're in the community and you can see them. So
how do you stand out, Clarissa? If you had to talk about yourself, how do you stand out?
I would like to think that I'm very resourceful within the community. So when you come to me, I don't just help with guidance for the New Jersey Family Care application. If you need help with food banks or English as a second language, or maybe child care assistance, I will point you in the direction of where you have to go to get that assistance, and who you can talk to. Like, I like knowing all the directors in town and knowing all the leaders, so that way I can say, go speak to this person. I know them personally, and that way people feel comfortable knowing that I'm a familiar face and they can rely on whatever services I may offer.
Well, first generation Hispanics, first generation Latin Americans, a lot of people have a lack of trust in the government, a lack of trust in an organization, because some of their home countries were repressive. So how do you convey that between the government and your group, we're here to work together to benefit you?
I think I just try to, I don't sometimes relate in the sense that I was born here, whereas a lot of them were not born here. However, I try to relate to them on just a friendly level, like, I'm here to help. I may not know all the answers, but I'll try to direct you in the right way. Yes, speaking Spanish does help as well, because they all already feel comfortable and able to speak in their own tongue. And then just being personable, knowing that, I've been there. I'm a single mom. I have utilized different resources within this city, and I can say to them, I've been there, I've gone through what you're going through, or I can help you with this because I myself have needed that at one point or another.
So how do you get members to join the Alliance, Daphne? Besides Clarissa, but
aside from stalking them at events.
No, stalking them at events is probably a really good answer.
Yeah.
But you got to make a pitch, right?
Yeah. I think with the Alliance, a lot of it is email communication. When I reach out to people, if I meet them, I get their business cards. But I think the main thing is just really realizing that we sometimes work in silos, and that if we come together, we can share resources, and that way we can reach the group. I think every organization pretty much in Elizabeth who's focused on prevention has one goal, which is getting Elizabeth to a healthy start, and being kind of like ahead of the game. So I think everyone kind of buys into the mission and really understands that we're all here for Elizabeth.
So the Alliance sponsors events, and I know you got a lot more coming up in the summer. Talk to us about some of those events that you have coming up.
So one of the major events, we have a DMI symposium, which is with the state police. We're going to be sponsoring with them.
What is DMI?
Which is the Drug Monitoring Initiative.
Okay.
And basically the state police has this thing called Journey to Crime, where they're able to map out where people are buying their drugs, where their original zip codes are from, and just basically trying to figure out the middle grounds, the intervention points. So we'll be supporting that initiative because, again, it does deal with directly what EMAC is about. So it's actually here at King University at Wilkins Theater, and it's going to be June 3rd.
June 3rd?
Yes.
And so, will you be here as well?
I surely will.
Yeah.
I'll come to support.
How do you pick and choose what you're going to?
I try to go to where the community is going to be. So I always pick events that, the community is going to be, whether it be health events or community events, as the one she mentioned. I just go where like the herd is. Okay. And I try to just, if I'm there, I set up tables or I walk around and I just help with any questions or concerns they may have.
So Daphne, when you work with young people, they're always smarter than us, right? So do they understand that, you're there to help them stay away and drug-free?
I think with our youth, there's a sense of invincibility, the superhero complex that it can't happen to me and not me. So I think for them, it's really realizing that changing the perception of risk. I think that's kind of the major goal of the Alliance and all our prevention education organizations is the perception of risk, that this can be you and not everything is as harmless as it seems. And I think as we're getting new and new drugs every day, youth need to really realize the potential risks that are associated and that we don't know everything about the drugs that they're using. And we might find out, 10, 20 years down the line, and it will probably have a negative effect. So I think our main goal is kind of changing the perception of risk.
Daphne, I want to thank you for taking the time to join us on the show. I'm glad you found Clarissa.
Yes.
And I want to congratulate Clarissa on being Volunteer of the Year.
Thank you so much.
For the Elizabeth Municipal Alliance, and appreciate both of you and the work that you do, especially with young people. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
For Miss Clarissa Robles, Miss Daphne Duperville, and Miss Alicia Souter, I'm Chris Bolwage, and we'll see you next week on another edition of Our City.
Offering everything you could want from college, including a life. Kane University.